Hi, welcome to Friendly Water for the World's chat about 1 million liters of water security. My name is Will Forrester. I am the Marketing and Communications Manager at Friendly Water for the World. I appreciate everyone joining today and also appreciate anybody looking at this later online if it's the first time you're seeing it. For those who have taken some time out of their busy Fridays to have this chat with us, thanks very much. I'm sure you're all prepping for a fun weekend. Hopefully there'll be lots of nice warm summer weather to go around. Let's start with some housekeeping. This chat is being recorded and you can access it in the future by going to our website at friendlywater.org/events, or you can visit us on our YouTube page. I always suggest that folks mute their microphone until they want to speak, and then you're welcome to unmute at any time and ask any questions or type your questions into the chat function of Zoom. And you can reach me at any time at will@friendlywater.org. I always like to put up our mission and vision as a great way to start these chats. Friendly Water for the World trains and equips communities in sustainable village-scale technologies to safeguard, conserve, and expand essential resources towards a vision of people able to live healthy lives and free to plan for the future. For those of you who are new to the organization, I always like to put in these 5 bullet points to kind of give an overview of what we do. We provide expertise in sustainable and scalable village-based essential resource programs. Those programs help build knowledge and resilience, and they are facilitated and managed through active community engagement. We embrace the dignity, strengths, and rights of all living beings, and we always seek to empower people worldwide. We invite everyone to join us in our mission, and we are constantly looking to grow our community through our supporters and partners and anyone who shares the values and mission that we are embarking upon. So today we're going to be talking about really the last 6 months. A few weeks ago, we released our 2020 annual report. If you haven't seen that, I encourage you to go to the About Us page on our website. That's where you'll find the annual report. After producing it, we thought, well, it would also be a great idea to talk about the first 6 months of this year and how those 6 months and the successes, both big and small, within those 6 months have led to a new program, a program of installing 1 million liters of water security capacity in Matsaka. When you launch a program like that, it's a big program. It doesn't just happen by itself. There is a lot of work and effort and time and successes, big and small, that have built one brick upon another to create the ability to start this program. And I thought it's a great idea for us to kind of look at those successes over the last 6 months, just to see where we were and how we got to where we are now. When we talk about successes, most folks ask the question, well, what does success look like for you? For us, it involves asking 3 really important questions. Does the program help fulfill our mission? So that can be not only program, but the build center, the build, the community, our partners. Are we all aligned towards something that fulfills our mission? That's first and foremost. Is the program community-led and community accepted? These programs only work if they are fully embraced and adopted by the community and led by the community, because it will require the community's input and maintenance and growth, and the benefits of whatever program we create are specific to the community. And so no 2 programs are identical because no 2 communities are identical. And so those will be customized to that community And for that reason, they have to be community-led and community accepted. And are the program outputs and outcomes sustainable? And this is really key. There's so much work that is done with partner communities who are looking to improve some aspect of the community or bring in a new kind of technology that can make things better in the community. And oftentimes the measures around those programs are simply the initial success of implementing whatever program or solution that is. And then no one goes back and determines if those things are successful over time. And so often they're not. And we believe that they have to be. And so that's why we have a sustainability plan as part of all of our programs. And we always are asking whether the work we're doing is creating outputs and outcomes that are sustainable. And so those successes visually look like this. We'll be talking about all of these during the chat today. There's so many more. This is just as many as I could fit on one screen. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to our executive director, Kurt Andino, who's going to start talking about our successes in the past 6 months through our build centers and our builds and our approach to the work we do. So over to you, Kurt. Thanks.
Thanks, Will. Hi, everybody. Good morning and afternoon, and evening, and middle of the night, depending on who you are and where you are. Thanks for joining us. As Will was saying, we've spent the last couple of years listening, reviewing, and ultimately refitting our organization to accomplish two things: to be responsive and to be effective. Responsive to both resource limited communities as well as to supporters and our funders, and because our funders are goal oriented and interested in investing in positive social change. So it's very key that we're responsive to the goals of the people who are driving the operation. And of course, just showing up doesn't mean you're getting the job done. We also have to be effective, and that means delivering something that is desired and necessary in a manner that is expeditious, lasting, and sized to have the maximum impact for as many humans as possible. So in order to get to that configuration of being able to be both responsive and effective, we had three primary variables that are both dependent and independent, depending on how you're utilizing them to play with. And that was size, time, and distance. And for us, I see us, and I think people who know how the operation works, we're about 50% a logistics company. And the simplest way to create a likely effective environment was to shorten all of our lines of communication and our lines of operation, or reduce the distance between 2 points. So we've done this in a couple of ways. We're investing more authority and staffing in the service delivery region. So for instance, we'll be talking about our Kakamega Build Center here in a moment. And that's in Kakamega, and it serves the county of Kakamega, and then it extends from it. But everything is centered in one place. We also geographically limit the service delivery area. So we have a combination of localized senior management now, traveling short distances. Our maximum is 150 kilometers, but I think our average is probably going to be more like 40 or 50. And they're traveling shorter distances on an interconnected network of partnering communities. So it's a hub and spoke model. We call it a build center. And we call that because that's what we do. We help communities build resilience, jobs, infrastructure. The more idealistic of us could say that we build hope. But at the end of the day, we build things that communities tell us are both useful and desired. Shorter distances also saves time. So by using interior lines, it lets us maximize resources. And a good example of that is um, our our center in Kambiri produces bricks, and they have a straight brick machine and a curved brick machine. And our build in Matsaka also produces bricks, and they have one of each. But as it turns out, Masaha needs to have two curved brick machines right now, and Kambiri can really benefit from having two straight brick machines. So we were just able to swap them by utilizing a very short 26-kilometer path. And a huge part of that is our Toyota Noah, which is the name of of a a van that Toyota makes, and was donated to us by three very generous donors, including Denny and Carol Kotzman, who are with us today. And it just makes us go from point to point that much easier. Um, it also allows us to scale programs up, because resource distribution is easier over shorter pathways. So this means that not only do we save time by reducing distance, but we also can increase size by minimizing distance. And then lastly, the key of this build center, which is our first one, and it's in Kakamega, and it's within Kakamega, it's in Kambiri, which is where Eric stays and where the brick making program works. So it's very easy for it to have connectivity, and that's important to us because if we can make staff travel much easier, we can facilitate accurate reporting, and that's something that troubles all nonprofits doing the type of work that we're doing. But by having this interior line and a hub and spoke, reporting becomes not only faster, but it becomes comparative, because you have one person visiting all the different sites. It becomes more systematic, and it also becomes accruing, because you have, the garbage in, garbage out. If you have good data coming in, then you have better decisions that can be made from that good data. So that's all by way of introducing our new build center, which is in Kakamega, and is connected to both Kambiri, to Masaha, and soon to be connected with Bukabero in Uganda. And I think we're probably anticipating being down in Kisumu or outside of Kisumu, which is south of where we currently are, in the not too distant future as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Um, the build centers have helped facilitate programs, and this is another great. This graphic kind of gives you an idea of the hub and spoke that Kurt was referring to with the build center at the center, but the other programs all kind of linked together. The other locations linked together through their programs, through their shared programs. One thing we've made a lot of progress on is a change in how we approach really the on the ground work. So traditionally, we've talked about this work as a project, and this isn't just a nomenclature change. This is a really tangible way we have changed how we're doing the work on the ground. So in the past, we typically referred to the work as a project. The project had, like projects do, a definitive start and an end to it. And once we were finished with one, we moved on to the next one, and we went to usually a different location, and we did another project there, and moved on to a different location and did another project there. And you would have seen that in our newsletters and materials that we sent out, updates on whatever the new project was. And you've probably seen on our website and through some of the our communications this year, us talking about the pros and cons to that approach. And we certainly discovered that spending more time in one location was going to be far more successful for our work and to meet our mission. And that's why the build centers exist. And as part of those build centers now, we have programs. And so those programs don't typically have a defined start and end. They usually have a defined beginning, but the programs are designed because they are community-led to be sustainable and last as long as they need to last, which could be many, many, many years. And as part of the program, we now have a sustainability plan. And that plan includes all of the steps and resources and information necessary for that program to be successful in a particular community. And the way we think about programs also depends on the particular build. So a program that is in a Matsakha build may be slightly different than, or significantly different than, a program that's in a Kambiri build. So an example of that is in the Matsakha build, we have a Building Better program. And as part of that program, the community through MDG, our partner Matsakha Development Group, has been trained how to make interlocking stabilized soil bricks. Those bricks primarily moving forward are going to be used to make rainwater catchment tanks as part of a water security program for the community. That is actually the title of our chat today, the 1 million liters of water security in Matsakha. The Building Better program in Kambiri looks a little different. That program was developed in part for us to test how bricks are made, what is the best way to make them, what is the best way to cure them, et cetera. Eric will talk more about that later in the call. And then can we sell them directly to the community and learn about how that process functions best in that area. So what is, and that can be everything from how to get bricks delivered, where to make them, how to accept payment, how to go about marketing and sales of the bricks. And that's facilitated in Kambiri differently because that happens to be where Eric Lajodi, our programs manager, lives. And so we're able to design a different kind of program in Kambiri than one that is necessary for Matsakha or one that may be selected in Bukabero. So these programs, in the past, we would just call these usually a training or a project, and it would be all about the specific technology. So we would be having interlocking stabilized soil brick training in this community. And what we've realized is it's not enough just to go into a community and train some folks and leave. There's a lot more that goes into making that program successful in the community. And that as much of that as possible now is included in the sustainability plan. And then once that planning and the training phase of our community investment process is complete, and we move on to the final step, which we're actually working on the nomenclature for, but we currently call that optimizing. Once we move into that step, we figure out what's working, what's not working, how do we make the program better, what information do we need to share, what do our partners need from us, because it is community-led. So we are helping to facilitate meetings and answering as many questions as we can, providing as much information as we can, and walking along these folks as they make decisions to hopefully make the programs better than the ones that we initially created. So that's been a great, this work in programs has been a great success so far for this year. We're going to talk about a few of them coming up next, and that will be for Matsakha and Getria Giza, who's going to be talking about the Good Hygiene program and the soap making that we're doing, or that they are doing in Matsakha. So Getri.
Greeting friends, thank you, Will. Actually, we are doing, not just they are. I think it's us and you, all inclusive. I want to introduce my colleague, Ezra Kigondu, who is our expert in the soap making work. Ezra will be actually sharing more so that you can also hear his voice. And then probably I might wrap up if there's need to contribute. Okay.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for this meeting and to briefly share our progress on SOAP is that currently we are proud that we've been certified by certification agencies in Kenya that our SOAPs are quality. They can go global. They now meet the required standards. So it's something that we want to rejoice for, and it's through your support and everything that you're rejoicing for this. And that's a very, very great success in our country. Once your product is certified, then you are good to go. And it has so many implications in what we are doing, because now even the soap locally has been really accepted, because those who thought that maybe it might not pass the required standards are surprised now that we have something which is made in Matsaka and has been certified by a government agency. Again, another progress that we are experiencing is that we've been able to label our products. We packaged them well. We branded them. So our soaps are going out in various packages. We have a 5-liter package. We have 1-liter package, and we have a 500 milliliter package. And all these are really helping us. Thank you, as you can see them there. And again, to make our soap be accepted everywhere and locally and be tested, we gave out samples in 100 ml bottles so that people can enjoy and feel our products. And today I want to here acknowledge that so far, since we've batched our products, we haven't received any complaints or any recall of our products, and they're out there in the market. So it's something that we are proud of. Friends, we want to say that to now, since January up to date, we've been able to produce almost 2,400 liters of soap since January. And of the 2,400 liters, we've sold almost 2,300 liters. And that figure is up to May. We haven't included June because we are still progressing. We are still producing more soap in this month of June. So those are some of the milestones that we are really enjoying. And in the marketing sector, we are enjoying the big market locally, in our local schools. We are really marketing our products in local school, local hospitals, in the community, before going out, before we've gone out, but we started really in doing a thorough marketing in our local area. And now we are moving outside Kakamega. We are getting our products going out of Kakamega. So, and going out of Kakamega, I want to tell you for true and for sure, is that it's because of the certification. And we enjoyed because of this certification, as you can see there, it attracted the local leadership to come and witness the local county leadership. The Minister for Trade in Kakamega County came in to hand over the certificate because it was a milestone. For them, it was such a great thing happening in their county. And all this success, we can say, it's because of all of us. It is because of your support, your inputs, expertise, commitment, time that brought about all this success. So we are very happy and we are rejoicing because of the achievements so we are continuing to make. So in any success, in any achievement, we also have our own challenges, which we are also experiencing. And some of the challenges that we are experiencing is we need to have a very robust promotion of our product, because in soap industry or in cosmetics industry, we are competing with large industries who are producing the same product. So we also need to be very strategically placed so that we can compete with them. So we are really trying, so we need more and more input, help in terms of knowledge, in terms of everything to competitively be in the market. So friends, that's what I can say, that we are rejoicing, and request Gatry to add any achievement, any successes and challenges so far that you're experiencing.
One, we are glad to have a strategic plan, which is really helping us a long way. And as Will said, before you come up with a strategic plan, we are actually not clear of what you're doing. I'll take a scenario of a mustard seed. Our thoughts, and Kat might agree with me here, our thoughts were to train people on how to make soap, so that the community of Matsaka can learn on how to have a project that can involve the community and benefit from it. But going to the extent of going to register with the Kenya Bureau of Standards, it is now giving us a wider eye view of not just limiting ourselves locally, but getting ourselves out there. Since the pandemic, Will showed a picture there. Since the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, it's a requirement that every shop in any marketplace, every household should have running water and soap, as you can see from that picture. And this is an advantage for us because soap is it's a commodity that is always being used. So we can never say we are stopping tomorrow. Our standardization certificate will go for 2 years. But since every shop has to have running water, and most of the local shops don't have sink, they have improvised a jerry can with a tap. And then we have special bottles that they're a bit expensive because of the type of the bottle that you squeeze and get the soap out. But you find shopkeepers prefer to have this special bottle so that their customers can wash hands before they get served. It's a requirement. So for us, it's a plus. Our first customers are the local people from Matsaka, but you're going advancedly out every day to test the waters and see how it goes. One thing I learned on Wednesday, some young men say that you want to go and test the waters in the marketplace. There's a big market nearby. And these two young gentlemen went there to test the waters, and they came back with very, very projective feedback. One, as they were selling their soap, they were trying to advertise the soap. Most of their customers said, "Can we hear this soap on media? What is it talking about?" Number two, we got recommendation from Ministry of Trade on the type of bottles we were using. We had these special bottles, but it mostly looked like water bottles for them. So the requirement was, can we get a specific bottle for soap that will not show the content, and it's round, and it can give details of what you are making with the raw materials you're using. And for us, these are very important feedbacks because they help us grow. They help us see further. Our intention is having this certification for 2 years. In 2 years' time, Matsaka community will proudly say they have something they participated in. One, in the fight of prevention of COVID-19 by keeping people safe. Number two, by being out in the market and having affordable, available soap for the community members. How do we deal with how does the community benefit from this success? The community of Matsaka benefit from the success in a way that when there is a sale and there's the profit that comes a long way can also help bring back either restocking or respond to a need. And also the people are making the soap and the people are selling the soap can also earn a living by being paid some little stipend of the work they're doing. So we see it going big, we are positive, and the success is just amazing. Thank you, Friendly Water. Thank you all friends in the world. And I think we are just proud to be part of this group.
Thank you so much, Gayatri and Ezra. And I so appreciate you guys staying up. I know it's late there in Kenya as well. So thank you. Thank you so much. Eric, hopefully, is going to share with us some of the progress that he's been making in Kambiri. Eric, can I hand it over to you?
Thank you, Will. Friends, my name is Eric Lungauli Jodi, the Programs Manager for Friendly Water for the World. I'm basically located in the western region of Kenya, not far away from where Ketri and Ethra stays from. Before I proceed, I just want to celebrate one individual in this particular call, and this is specifically Ethra. Ethra is not a resident of Matsakha. I know he always moves in Matsakha on Mondays, and by Friday evening, he's supposed to be with his family. But I think for the purposes of this particular call, he has sacrificed so that he becomes part of this particular meeting and share with us the progress we are doing in Matsaka. So I really celebrate Ethra for his commitment toward the work that we are doing. At the same time, for the purposes of this call, I would like to let friends who are here to know that Ethra is actually a trained chemical engineer. And for us to be able to get the certification that we are proudly sharing here, it is because of his effort and of his input in the whole process of the soap making. So I'm really proud of him. I really thank him for putting all his effort in the work that we are doing. I want to briefly share about the interlocking bricks, specifically the ones that we are working on in Kambiri. We received our first interlocking brick machines from Matsaka, which came with a manual for the training of the same. We had a first training of the people to help us making the bricks within Kambiri. And initially we started with the straight bricks, after which we embarked on making the curved bricks through the team that we had established in Kambiri. The resource that we are using for making these bricks in Kambiri is maram. Maram is found locally, is in plenty in Kambiri. And so this is the resource that we are using actually to make the bricks. It's important to note that there are different types of maram that we are using. In Kambiri, you can easily get the red maram, the black maram, and the one that appears to be like white maram. All of it is actually readily available in Kambiri. Before we proceed to make the bricks, we do a shrinkage test on the maram that we receive. This test actually enables us to know the ratio of maram against the cement which you use as a stabilizer when we are making these particular bricks. It's important to note that as of now, we have 2 machines in Kambiri and 2 machines in Matsakha. The team in Kambiri is capable of actually producing 500 bricks using 1 machine. So if we have 2 machines on site, we are capable of producing 1,000 bricks in a day. As you can see in the photo that is shared on the screen, this is the production that happened sometime back in Kambiri when we were working toward the goal of producing the 10,000 bricks. So this is an exercise that is very important for us as an organization. Is a technology that the community has started accepting because the labor involved in producing the interlocking bricks is less. It reduces the cost of production, and also it is environment friendly. There's one thing to take note about when we are making the interlocking bricks. The process of curing is very key. I remember the first time I started making these bricks, it was during the dry season. The recommendation in the manual that came with the machine, it indicated that you have to do the curing in the morning, then in the evening. But I just found out that when the weather is very hot, the curing may be done even 3 times in a day. You do it in the morning, you do it in the midday, and then you finalize in the evening. In Kambiri, we have a very solid production team that is working on production of the interlocking bricks. So far, we embarked on a production to produce 10,000 bricks, a venture that was achieved, and this was done with an intention of using a different approach of selling the bricks that we are producing to the community around Kambiri. And I'm glad to report, for the purposes of this meeting, that initially, before we even embarked on the production of the 10,000 bricks, we had an order from a friend who used to work with an organization known as Africa Great Lakes Initiative, who gave us the first order of the 1,000 bricks for the extension of his kitchen. This is David Terembuka. May his soul rest in peace. I think this was the first opening for us. This was the first sales we made as a Kambiri team to that friend, the late David Zerembuka. The 10,000 bricks that we are producing currently, the orders that are ready, we have a private school that is just within Kambiri that will be placing an order for 2,000 bricks. And these 2,000 bricks will specifically be used to construct a girls' toilet within the school, the private school I'm mentioning about. So we have an order for 2,000. And then there is another order for 5,000 bricks. And this order is from a private individual who wants actually to put up his own house. He'll be giving us an order for the 5,000 bricks. So in total, you'll notice that the sales of the bricks in Kambiri, if we sell the 2,000 and the 5,000, will be toward the projection of selling 8,000 bricks at one particular time. In Kambiri, we are also engaged in the process of building rainwater catchments using the carved bricks, because from the initial machine we received from Matsaka, we embarked on the process of also making the carved interlocking bricks. And up to now, we have bricks that can build up to 4 tanks. We had the first construction of the tank that was done in Kambiri, and what we used was less than 1,000 bricks. So it automatically means that within Kambiri, we have another 3,000 bricks that are ready for construction of another 3 rainwater catchments within the schools that have been identified in Kambiri. During the training for the rainwater catchment, we had an engineer who came all the way from Nairobi, who was sent over by the company that is giving us the interlocking bricks to come and do the training with the masons that are found locally when we are doing the construction of the rainwater catchment that is in Kambiri. So we have actually 4 trained masons who can actually build a rainwater catchment after the training that we had in Kambiri. In the photo that is shared on the screen, this is the first rainwater catchment that we constructed in Kambiri using the interlocking bricks. And as you can see, it was actually put up, and the entire system is all interlocking bricks. No mortar was used actually to set up this particular tank. And then we are in the process of making sure that we do the other 3 construction in the schools that we've identified. We have moved a step further because if you have to build more of the rainwater catchments, there's a need to have approved plans, drawings for the rainwater catchment that we are doing. So our drawings are with the Ministry of Works within Kakamega County. They have done with the drawings. They're just making a few adjustments, after which they'll get us the printouts. Once the printouts are out, we'll call for the necessary approvals from the government so that they can allow us to construct more of the rainwater catchments in most of the schools. We have actually partnered with various schools that we intend to put up rainwater catchments. Specifically, most of the schools are in Matsaka, and we are hoping that once the approvals are out, then we'll embark on the work of making sure that we are putting up over 46 rainwater catchments in Matsakha. This is the work that we are doing currently, and we are sure that once we have these drawings ready, once we have the approvals ready, then the work will continue. This is work that is going to take us some time before we finish. And as I finish, I want to say that the success that we are sharing here is actually for all of us. I really want to appreciate the colleagues who are here, specifically the ones that are in diaspora, for the effort you are doing to make sure that we are facilitated, you get us the funding to make sure that we move on. Ours is to make sure that the support you are giving us is actually put into proper use so that we continue assisting the communities we are staying in, because our main aim is to uplift the lives of the people that we are living with. And this is, I'm proud of the team that is in the US for the work that you're doing, led by our executive director. We really appreciate for what you're doing, because were it not because of you, we could not be talking about this success today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. The appreciation goes both ways, I'm sure. I wanted to hand it over now to Denny Kautzman, our board member and longtime supporter with his wife, Carol, who I can just see off screen there. There she is. Hi, Carol. And Denny is going to talk a little bit about the success we've been having stateside. Denny?
Yes, thank you, Will. You know, we've had such amazing successes, as you have heard. Eric and Getri and Ezra have just shared some amazing things that we've been seeing. And I've been asked to speak a little bit about kind of the transitions that we've been going through on our end of it that have helped to kind of get us to this point. So I want to take us back, first of all, to talk about how we basically started. And so that kind of goes back to our original chair, David Albert, who in 2009 had a request from Dell Livingston to raise funds for a biosand water filter project in Western Kenya. And from that small but successful project, Friendly Water for the World was officially formed in 2010 with David Albert as chair and Dell Livingston, who spent significant time abroad, as an honorary chairman. So yes, and Carol reminded me that Dell's wife Suzanne also was a part of that partnership abroad. So, hats off to all of those who started this whole organization.
Great.
David served as chairman of the all-volunteer organization through its early growth and expansion. And finally, he was able to remove some of those many hats that he wore in his role after the organization transitioned into a staffed organization with the hiring of our executive director, Kurt Andino, in 2018. So now I want to bring us forward a bit and speak now about the next phase of that process, where Dr. Connie Basic was elected chair at the annual meeting in March. So that allowed David to do the things that he most enjoys in his volunteer service to our organization. And we absolutely are so grateful for his 11 plus years of service to this organization. So yes, so far, exactly. But 11 years in this organization as chair, wearing all kinds of hats. So now moving on to give you a little bit of an idea of Connie. Connie is a medical doctor, and she was educated in Oregon, the state education system. And she had her initial experience medically in California before moving here in 1990. She worked 28 years in the emergency department at Capital Medical Center and 5 years at Western Institutional Review Board as a staff physician. She was introduced to Friendly Water through another board member who has moved on to pursue her other things. And Jenny Stern has been a really wonderful supporter of Friendly Water through the years. And some of you probably know her and know her quite well. So Connie began serving on the board about 5 years ago. And she was working on the planning committee, the nominating committee, and she chaired the projects committee. And she's been through the biosand water filter training program in Anacortes, which has been held previous years. And she's also made 2 trips thus far to Uganda. Connie's been a very important professional voice in reviewing the efficacy process and the results of Friendly Water. The projects committee has been renamed and repurposed. As you heard, it's no longer projects which have kind of a beginning and an end time to them, but now it is more of a program focused organization. And she chairs within that organization now the technology and evaluation committee. So we welcome her in her new leadership role, and we look forward to the continued development of our organization. So thank you all. That's all I have to share at this point as far as the transition in the organizational part of the board of directors.
Were you there?
Will, did you want me? I can't hear you. You're muted, Will. I'm sorry.
I just finished giving you many compliments.
Oh, well, thank you. Would you mind repeating them? Because I didn't hear one, neither did anyone else.
I was just thanking you and Carol, not just for your support, but for your participation and input and influence on the organization. I don't think we'd be here. Certainly we wouldn't look the same without you. So thank you both so much. And I'm going to, before I hand it over to our executive director for some final words, I wanted to take a second and just include a handful of the other small things that we've accomplished this year. And really this list, as I was putting these things together, and I'm going to write all of this into an article that will be on our next newsletter and will be on our website, because I realized just how much we've accomplished. And it's funny, we saw the picture of the rainwater catchment tank with the interlocking bricks and how it's necessary for, as bricks are, which are interlocking, for them to fit together well, and all put together, they can hold in 20,000 liters of water. They are very strong, but one depends on the other. And so we have been making progress, small and large, through the list through the last 10 years, but specifically through the last 6 months, to get to the place where we can create a program that has 1 million liters of water capacity. And some of our successes have been the community engagement meetings that we now hold with our partners that are designed on long-term feedback, long-term investment in our conversations and relationships. The reporting that we are now undertaking with our programs, and how critical that reporting is to making sure that the programs are not just successful today, but can keep improving. The rainwater catchment tank design, the bricks that we've been making in Matsaka, which is a program that I had up on the screen, but we haven't even talked about, that those bricks, which will be going into the rainwater catchment tanks, but the brick making itself is its own program. The soap that Getry mentioned at wash stations. We have a new coach down in Monze and a new driver to get her around, and they've been visiting communities down there for more potential builds out of that build center. And really, this is just half, maybe a third of the full list. So lots and lots of small and medium and large steps that, quite frankly, all of you make possible. And on that note, I'll hand it over to Kurt for his final thoughts.
Yes. Well, would you mind if I interrupt just a moment?
Sure.
You gave me another spot that I was supposed to fill. I don't know if you want me to provide that here briefly, or to just go into the closing with Kurt.
I think just based on time, if it's okay, Denny, we'll go into the closing.
That's absolutely fine. Thanks, Will.
Great. Thanks, Denny.
So thanks, Will. Thanks, Denny. Look where we are. We're adding another manager in the Kakamega Build Center. We're building better in Kambiri. We're getting ready to hire someone full-time in Zambia. We have a KEBS certification. Multi-purpose soap helps with good hygiene and it creates jobs. We've been invited into 3 villages outside of Monze in Zambia: Humadunga, Hamoya, Manamumba. In fact, I even got through those 3 almost correctly. It's just amazing. So many amazing things happening. We also have upcoming work in Bukabero in Uganda, which is going to be a combination of building better and good hygiene for starting. And then you get a little bit more granular and you start looking, like probably the most important thing that's on my desk right now are the engineered drawings for our rainwater catchment tank, which it's these are well executed drawings. It's a much different approach than we've taken in the past. These are going to be stamped by the engineers, which we've never used stamped drawings before. We've never submitted drawings for certification from the local government for compliance. And why that's so important is because, as we've been hinting at this whole time, is because of Matsakha. We are in the process of getting ready to build 1 million liters of water storage in Matsakha. And this is at 13 schools, 1 health clinic, and the local marketplace. These tanks will directly impact over 1,000 people a year, mainly school children, with a supplemental or primary water source. These tanks are going to be built out of 50,000 ISSB bricks, which will be made in Matsaka by local workers. The tanks will then be built by local masons that we've trained, and they're going to be trained by our trainers from Kambiri that Eric already has. So trainers training new masons, and then it goes on and on. This particular program is going to run for probably 18 months from inception. It has a total estimated cost of $75,000. $44,000 was donated by an anonymous donor household in order to get this going. Our goal is that the installation of 50 rainwater catchment tanks in the community will spur adoption of catchment technology and the ability to compete with the sale of plastic tanks, and which are kind of the standard. But the plastic tanks only have 1/4 the amount of storage, 5,000 liters versus 20,000 liters. And they also only last 8 to 10 years, where ours is going to, since we're using cement as a stabilizer, it will become strongest in about 25 years and start breaking down in about 50 years. So it's at least 4 times the lifespan, 4 times the capacity, at just a little less than twice the cost. So we see an opportunity to build as many as 400 rainwater catchment tanks in Matsaka over the next couple of years, which would be a great demonstration of the benefit of resource stability upon a community that's grappling with climate change and uncertainty caused by climate change. So, you know, look at the end here. It's jobs with good wages and water security for the benefit of the people of Matsaka, done by the people of Matsaka, made possible by people like you, who understand that if you give folks just the basic tools, both mechanical and organizational, and then walk alongside with them until you're no longer needed, anything is possible, including 1 million liters of water security in Matsaka. So thank you all very, very much for joining us today. It's good to have good news to share, and it's even better to share it with friends. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kurt, for a rousing finish. And just to open it up to the floor for folks who have any questions in the last few minutes we have. Any takers? I just want to, if no one has a question, I just want to, if you may have seen in the most recent newsletter, or if you've been on our website, our 2020 annual report was recently completed. And so if you're interested to see both what we accomplished last year and our an overview of our plans for this year, please go check that out. You can go on our website on the About Us page, and that's where you'll find our annual report. And once you've read that, you can head over to our events page to see when our next chat's going to be. And then I'm sure if you're looking to become a sustaining donor, you can hop right over to that donate page and give monthly. We always encourage folks to do that. So if no one has any other questions, I will thank you all so much for joining us and look forward to seeing you next month. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you and good morning.
Kwaheri ya kuonana.
Thank you all.
Hakuna Matata.